Hi, I'm Jessica Lohman from Ethical Brand Marketing, and today we're going to talk about competition. Earlier this week, on Monday, I published a blog post about what you can learn from your competition. And then I raised a couple of questions in Facebook groups, and I got an amazing response rate. It was really interesting. Um, and the questions I asked were, do you know anything else you can learn from your competition? And do you have any experiences with your competition, either positive or negative? Basically, how do you feel about that word and that term? How does it make you feel? Um, and I'll go into some of the answers in just a bit, but the reason basically why I wanted to raise this topic was because when I was in the corporate world as a marketing director, I, I felt so weird because my boss really talked very negatively about competition. I mean, we had one main competitor, and they dominated the market worldwide, and they still do. And it just caused so much pain for my boss, and I never really understood it. But but when I met the marketing director of this company at a sustainability tourism camp about like 6 or 7 years ago, we totally hit it off like right away. And we still have contact. And I mean, she even said, "Ooh, I noticed what you're doing." And I noticed that, you know, I first noticed that this company had a new marketing person, and then I kind of checked you out. So that kind of made me feel, I don't know, I felt honored. I don't know. Um, but it I never ever felt negative about competition. There's a reason why we have competition, basically to give people a choice. I mean, just think about it. What if we only were able to eat cornflakes? Just think about it. We need competition, because sometimes you do want uh, your blue jeans black or something. I don't know. You do want variations. You do want to learn from people that resonate with you, be it a coach or whatever. You want competition in every industry so that you have a choice as a consumer. And it keeps you on your toes as an owner as well, because you can learn so much from your competition. And in my blog post, I mentioned just 4 things that you can learn, but there are a million other things, of course, too. But just to reiterate, just real quick, I will put the link down at the bottom in the comments. But just to talk about these 4 things real quick, you can learn how to position yourself, what niche you want to go into. The second thing, you can learn how to communicate. Um, you can learn how to develop your products and services, and you can learn how to choose your keywords. All this by observing your competition. And that in itself is amazing. But what I found out just from asking these questions in the Facebook group on Monday, there's so much more. So let's dig in. I'll just talk about it for a little bit. Basically, the main takes that I took away from ethical brand owners' answers were to turn competition into collaboration. That's like the new competition is now collaboration. Uh, Especially amongst this ethical brand space, because we're all in this together. It's so difficult to make changes in your industry and in this world alone, right? So if you bring in people to help you do this, and if you collaborate with other companies, you can make more of an impact faster. Okay, so and you can also do it via referrals. Like, let's say you are a coach, or you are just a single solopreneur who makes handcrafted jewelry, but you can't quite make the same like let's say you make custom jewelry and somebody asks for something that you just can't deliver for whatever reason, and you just refer that person to somebody who can. And doing referrals is just it's just a wholehearted good thing to do. I do it all the time. um like when somebody asks for a German voiceover, sure, I could do it, but I have an accent. So so that's the first thing I ask: do you want a native speaker or do you not want a native speaker? Because sometimes people do, sometimes people don't. So and I always have a pool of people that I can refer them to. And or you could like work together on certain projects or combine processes, um, to purchase things in bulk or something to save costs. And another takeaway was that they learn so much from the competition that they're truly grateful. Or then you have the negative part of it where you compare yourself to others. And this happens a lot with solopreneurs or businesses just starting out. And basically because they're seeing another business or another person who's up here, but they don't see all the stuff that happened to get that person or that company up here. So if you're just starting out or are in business for yourself, and you see these other companies or people who are at a higher level, um, try not to get into that compare mode, because that will limit you. That will limit your progress. That will make you feel like a loser. And you're not a loser. You're a rock star, right? You are doing something well, something very good for this world. So, don't compare yourself, because it's not going to do you any good. And another thing was ideal stealing. Oh, God, that does hurt. And there are some tough industries too, like the tourism industry, where somebody mentioned the market is so saturated that differentiation is key. Completely agree. And if you have any questions or any comments, also just write them down, because I do want to know what you think about your competition and how you go about collaborating with them. Right now, I just want to share some comments. I won't name any names. I want to keep it anonymous, because I don't want to offend anybody. It's all good though, all positive stuff here. But yeah, I do want to keep it anonymous. One person mentioned, and I'm just going to read this, so that's why I'm not going to look directly in your eyes for a minute, okay? One person mentioned, I've actually just been thinking about how ethical clothing businesses should all get together to buy their fabrics together and share CMT, cut, make, trim slots to help with minimums, price, and energy efficiency. That's wonderful. That's a wonderful idea. Just to buy stuff in bulk. You're going to make different things anyway from your competitor, right? You're not going to make the same exact shirt. So why not combine the efforts and buy the materials in bulk and save costs that way? Another person mentioned, my view now is that maybe I need to step back a level and facilitate communities with my ideas and projects rather than lead and deliver them all myself. This is a perfect leadership statement. And a leader, a true leader, is the one who steps back and says, let's do this together, not it's me, 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 right? That is a sign of a true leader. And she also wrote, I like the Apple versus Microsoft analogy. Sorry, I can't talk today. Be like Apple, just get on with doing you and don't worry about potential competitors. Don't worry what potential competitors are doing. Create your own niche. And because I compared Microsoft to Apple, how they talked and viewed each other, like Apple had kind of like a laissez-faire attitude, like, we're not going to worry about Microsoft. We know who we are. We know who our customers are. We know what they want. We're confident. Okay. And yes, they have products that are better than ours. Sometimes we have better products. Sometimes they launch a better product. it's all good, right? And Microsoft was like, what is Apple doing? What is Apple doing? We got to beat the competition. We got to beat them at their game. Who wins there? Obviously, Apple. Don't worry about your competition. Put more energy into your own business and your customers and not into anybody else's business. Okay. And another person wrote, for me, it's about finding ideas in common to work with and areas of difference to differentiate against. The ethical space is growing, but it's still quite small. So if we can work together to cover off the whole market, then that is going to help everyone in the long run. I can't see any point in us all trying to do the same thing, right? I haven't had any negative experiences with competitors that I'm aware of. There are competitors that I learned from, which I think is good. Again, perfect. Yes, because you're not doing the same exact thing. You may be in the same industry, but your niche is a little different. Your style is different. You are different. The reason why you're doing it is different. Okay. And that's going to appeal to different people. So if you combine your efforts and work together, you can definitely make more of an impact faster. Another one, which I thought was really good. Jessica, this post made me realize that we are on the right path. I agree. You shouldn't feel intimidated by your competitors. Instead, you should do your own thing and try to build your own little niche market. So far, we've learned so much from our competitors, I can't even describe. I can only say thanks. Gratitude. She didn't write that part, but gratitude does keep this world spinning. We really appreciate this free of charge knowledge and respect them for that, and understand that probably there's tons of work behind their business too. Right on. That is so true. I mentioned it before because seriously, they may be up here, but what they did to get up here was a lot of effort, right? And it took them energy too. None of us are a .com. We're not going to go from here to there in a day. It's just not going to happen. It's not sustainable, right? And so, because think about it, if you do see these companies up here and you say, oh, I wish I had 1,000 new customers. Well, what would you do with 1,000 new customers tomorrow? What would happen? Would you be able to serve them quickly, right? So you want to do this steadily. One other comment. I have two more, so just bear with me. But I'm finding people come to me regarding collaboration, which is being overused by competition to mean we're feeling a little threatened and want to know what you're doing, but we're bigger than you, existed longer. So we want to use your brain, knowledge, experience, and expect you to tell us all. So we're going to term it as thus. Wow. Yeah. This is kind of scary. One thing I do want to mention about this, if bigger companies who have been in business for longer are looking at you and want to collaborate with you, that's a good sign. That's a really good sign. That means that you're doing something right. And if they're feeling threatened, that's their problem. Okay. You can, of course, give them any information you want. But if you see value, if they can give you value, then you could totally, collaborate with them. She also wrote, I don't want to give away her ideas, but she also wrote, let's not pretend there's not competition. And it's good motivation for all to strive, but we can be friendly competitors and work together on areas of mutual interest in the overall promotion of ethical business. But any partnership needs to be mutual and have an equal give and take. Definitely. You have to trust your collaborator, right? You have to trust the person you're partnering with. And it has to be equal give and take. Otherwise, you're going to be giving. You're going to be over delivering. And they're going to take, and that's not what we want, right? That's not what anybody wants, because that only frustrates you, and yeah, hurts your business. So that was a very interesting comment, because this being threatened by a from a bigger company, being threatened, feeling threatened, that's really a good sign. As soon as people start copying you or whatever, that's a good sign that you're doing something right, or listening to you, right? um and the last one I want to comment on, this was also very inspiring. But there's one agency that does nearly the same as what I do. In fact, they offer way more, because they also offer technical support for call centers and audio recordings. They have a much bigger team too. Their focus isn't so much on ethical businesses, but they do things ethically, and I respect them hugely for the sometimes difficult decisions that come with that. And I work with them on some of the projects that require a sustainable angle, or simply my German skills. Each time I learn about ways of doing business, how to scale, how to organize things, what mistakes can happen, how to fix them, etc. I also get to see my own value, because collaboration shows me what I do differently and why. It's great getting to look under the hood of another company and exchanging ideas. Wholeheartedly recommend it. I love this, because when you collaborate, especially with a bigger company, they have a different system. They have a different business process, and you can totally learn by that. How to, what mistakes to avoid, and organizational things. Think about it, like a company like IBM, just to get as an employee, just to get a pen, you have to go through 3 departments. I'm exaggerating, obviously, but I I only worked for like middle-sized companies. I never worked for a huge corporation like IBM, but if I wanted a pen, I just went and got it, right? I just got it, and it wasn't a problem, or whatever. If I had to do something, go to an event, I just went through one person and not through so many departments to get what I needed. But sometimes you can learn through the bigger processes, and also like management and stuff. There's so much you can learn from there. So that's basically the discussion that we've had this week. And another thing I wanted to mention, on Monday nights at, let me think, it's 9:00 at night CET, that's UTC +1, 8:00 at night UTC GMT British time, on Twitter. I'm going to also put the hashtag. There's a discussion called Ethical Hour, where the owner of Ethical Hour comes on, and she brings a topic, and she talks about this topic for an hour on Twitter. And that is totally engaging too. So I do recommend that you go on Twitter, and join us on that tweet chat on Monday evenings. Evenings for Europe. Anyway, I'll write the information down too. And we're going to be doing this every week. We start a topic on Monday, we publish a blog post, we ask questions about the topic, and then on Thursday we're going to go live and talk about the discussion that we had. And so, I hope you join us in the future. We're going to look at the times to see how it's working. It's now it's like 1:20 afternoon CET time, Europe time, Germany time. And so middle of the afternoon. And Eunice is going to go on next week live at 1 p.m. her time. Now, the US sprung forward last Sunday, but Europe hasn't yet. So I'm in Germany, and Eunice is in Colorado. So she's now 7 hours behind me. Normally it's 8. Mountain time is normally 8 hours behind CET Germany time. So now it's only 7. So next week she's going to go on at 1 p.m. her time, Mountain Time, which is 7 hours behind, oh gosh, 7 hours behind Germany time, behind CET, right? CET minus 7, something like that. Oh, this totally confuses me sometimes. But anyway, 1 p.m. her time, Mountain Time next week, and the following week will be me again. We're going to do this rotatingly and just see how the time is. It's lunchtime for me and it's lunchtime for her. So we'll just try to make it work out so that it's also time that you can watch and ask your questions. So that's all I have for today. I hope you have a wonderful day. Again, I'm going to put the link to the blog post below, so check that out and even ask your questions or, comment. And we'd love to hear from you. And if you have any other topics that you want to talk about, just let us know and we'll write about it and we'll talk about it. Okay? Well, have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful rest of your week and rock on.